A Wise Woman, TS2009 ISR, Scripture Reading Compilation. A Wise Woman. And Yahuah Elohim said, "It is not good for man to be alone, but I am going to make a helper for him, as his counterpart." Bereshit, Genesis 2:18. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up displeasure. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge good, but the mouth of fools pours out foolishness. The eyes of Yahuah are in every place, watching the evil and the good. A healing tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness in it crushes the spirit. A fool despises his father's discipline, but he who heeds reproof is clever. The household of the righteous is of great treasure, but in the income of the wrong is trouble. The lips of the wise scatter knowledge, but the heart of fools is not so. The wise in heart accepts commands, but one with foolish lips falls. Mashiach, Proverbs 10:8. A glad heart makes a good face, but by sorrow of the heart spirit is stricken. The heart of the understanding one seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feeds on folly. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but gladness of heart is a continual feast. Mashiach, Proverbs 15:13 through 15. Do not distort right ruling. Do not show partiality, nor take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Devarim, Deuteronomy 16:19. Evil thoughts are an abomination to Yahuah, but pleasant words are clean. He who is greedy for gain troubles his own house, but he who hates bribes lives. The heart of the righteous ponders how to answer, but the mouth of the wrong pours out evil. Yahuah is far from the wrong ones, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoices the heart. A good report gives marrow to the bones. An ear that hears the reproof of life does dwell among the wise. He who ignores discipline hates himself, but he who listens to reproof gets understanding. The fear of Yahuah is the discipline of wisdom, and before esteem is humility. Mashiach, Proverbs 15:26 through 31. Through the window, the mother of Sisera looked and cried out through the lattice, "Why does his chariot delay to come? Why have the steps of his chariots tarried?" The wise ones of her princesses answered her. Indeed, she answered herself. Shaphatim, Judges 5:29. Who does find a capable wife? For she is worth far more than rubies. The heart of her husband shall trust her, and he has no lack of gain. She shall do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She shall seek wool and flax, and with delight she works with her hands. She shall be as the ships of Tarshish. She brings in her food from afar. She also rises while it is still night, and provides food for her household, and what is lawful for her girls. She shall consider a field and buy it. From her profits she shall plant a vineyard. She shall gird herself with strength and strengthen her arms. Mashiach, Proverbs 31:10 through 17. The wise one hears and increases learning, and the understanding one gets wise counsel. For understanding a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of Yahuah is beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. Mashali, Proverbs 1, 5 through 7. She shall taste when her gain is good. Her lamp does not go out by night. She shall stretch out her hands to the distaff, and her hand shall hold the spindle. She shall extend her hand to the poor, and she shall reach out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is dressed in scarlet. She shall make tapestry for herself. She is dressed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sits among the elders of the land. She shall make fine linen and sell them, and shall give girdles for her merchants. Mashali, Proverbs 31, 18 through 24. The wise do inherit esteem, but fools are bearing away shame. Mashali, Proverbs 3:35. Strength and splendor are her garments, and she rejoices in time to come. She shall open her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the Torah of loving commitment. She watches over the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children shall rise and call her blessed, her husband too, and he praises her. Many daughters have done nobly, but you have risen over them all. Loveliness is deceptive, and prettiness is vain. A woman who fears Yahuah is to be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Mashali, Proverbs 31:25 through 31. Rash speaking is like piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is healing. Mashali, Proverbs 12:8. In the same way, wives, be subject to your own husbands, so that if any are disobedient to the word, they without a word might be won by the behavior of their wives, having seen your blameless behavior in fear. Your adornment should not be outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on dresses, but the hidden man of the heart, with the incorruptible ornament of a meek and peaceable spirit, which is of great value before Elohim. For in this way, in former times, the set-apart women who trusted in Elohim also adorned themselves, being subject to their own husbands. As Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, of whom you became children, doing good and not frightened by any fear. In the same way, husbands, live understandingly together, giving respect to the wife, as to the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the favor of life, so that your prayers are not hindered. Kapha Aleph, 1 Peter 3, 1 through 7. The heart of the wise gives discretion to his mouth, and he increases learning to his lips. Mashali, Proverbs 16:23. Yahuwah's word. Cleanse me with hyssop, and I am clean. Wash me, and I am whiter than snow. Let me hear joy and gladness. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my crookedness. Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Tahilim 51, 7 through 10. May favor of Master Yahusha Ha Mashiac be with all who guard the commands of Yahuah and the witness of Yahusha Ha Mashiac.